5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, September 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. The recent uptick in COVID-19 cases has reintroduced mask requirements on the Troy University campus. Starting this past Monday, masks are now required in indoor spaces on campus. Claudia Peppenhorst shows us on what led the decision to update the campus COVID requirements.
As Troy University is nearing its fourth week in session of the fall semester, the university administration had to make some recent adjustments to the COVID restrictions currently in place. It was announced Friday that starting this week, masks will be required in all on-campus indoor spaces for students and faculty. The university had hopes to return to normal operations, but as Dr. Lance Tatum says, this was the best option to keep students in the classroom.
I think normal is never going to be the same definition that we used to use for that word, but I do think that as we looked at the number of students who were moving in and out of the classroom, faculty who were moving in and out of the classroom, we had to do something to try to stabilize the environment. And so putting people into a mask indoors gave us the opportunity to not have to be so lenient in terms of who's being exposed.
Tatum says that many factors played into the university requiring masks, including the rising COVID cases on campus. Mass exposure played a role as well from keeping students in attendance to their in-person learning.
We looked at our case count numbers. We looked at what was happening inside the classroom. We had a large number of students who were having to quarantine because of exposure. That led us to this point where we've decided that it's probably going to assist in keeping the continuity of instruction in place if we go ahead and put everybody into a mask.
As COVID cases continue to rise, the university administration hopes that requiring masks will help reduce the number of positive cases. As of right now, when entering a building, it's time to mask up.
The number of cases is actually higher than it was last year, but we were doing things last year that we're not doing this year, so we expected there to be some increase. But the trend data was really still trending up, and so we thought this would be a great opportunity to try to combat that.
Masks will continue to be required, but the administration says this is only temporary. The task force will soon meet again to reevaluate the situation, with an announcement to be made on September 17th.
We think that the 3 weeks gives us a little bit of breathing room. It gives us a chance to really evaluate where we're at. The task force will come back together that week prior to the 17th to get a sense of what our status looks like and if we need to continue it or if we need to discontinue the mask in the classrooms.
While Troy's first football game of the season is this Saturday, Troy University Student Government Association is already looking ahead to the second game of the season on September 11th, with events planned around the game to honor those who lost their lives in the attacks 20 years ago. Bill Johnson has the details.
The Troy University SGA executives and senators came together to swear in the 8 Supreme Court justices for the 2021-2022 school year. After this, committee and executive representatives gave their reports of what each committee had been up to. Many topics were brought up, including the 9/11 memorial name readings being held on campus next week.
As far as student participation, we just want to make sure the students are aware of how important this is. This is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Just want to make it more impactful.
SGA advisor Barbara Patterson said the name readings would be a premier event and historic since this is the 20th anniversary of the events of 9/11. Other topics included how to encourage students to receive a COVID vaccine and plans to help those affected by Hurricane Ida. Parts of Louisiana were decimated at the aftermath of the storm, but the SGA wants the Trojans to do their part to help with relief efforts.
So our hearts are really concerned for those in Mississippi and Louisiana from this hurricane. We're working on potentially right now getting together some type of collection, whether it's money or food. I became friends this summer with the SGA president at University of Lafayette. And they were also impacted by the hurricane. So we're going to start talking back and forth to see what we can do for the SGA. We play ULL at home this year, so that'll be a great opportunity where we can give back to them.
Throughout the meeting, the SJA also discussed how to get students safely more involved around campus.
So this fall, back when I got elected, my goal was really just to reunite the Trojan pride that we had and just kind of get social groups out of the dorms and things like that, bring friends and stuff like that back together. That's really starting this week with the return of football games. We did an excellent job with welcoming week. Miles did an excellent job right on the dot, bringing people out, different social groups and like that, having us all together and bringing us back together as one, reuniting that one Troy kind of motto that we embrace here at Troy.
Bella Johnson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Many students attend college to learn about history, but Troy students now have the opportunity to see history in person. The Troy University Library is hosting an exhibit with an array of artifacts that date back hundreds of years from significant historic figures. Claudia Peppenhorst has that story.
When you think about a library, you probably imagine hundreds of books, but what about books that are hundreds of years old? Well, the Troy University Library is featuring an exhibit called The Remnant Trust, which gives colleges around the country the opportunity to house pieces of history on their campus.
This is the second time we've hosted the Remnant Trust. It's a group out of Texas Tech that collects first editions and antique books with the sole purpose of trying to put them in the hands of students and faculty around the country. So in 2019, we were able to bring it here for the first time, and it was just enormously popular with students and faculty and members of the community.
The Remnant Trust features an array of artifacts, including a second folio edition of William Shakespeare's The Famous Life of King Henry VIII. The second folio was published in 1632 and will reside here in the library until the end of the fall semester.
The exhibit also features a Vulgate Bible from the 13th century, along with other antique and first edition books from U.S. presidents to Francis Bacon. The exhibit was welcomed back to campus this semester, and Schaefer says it gives students a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see them in person. Plus, there's an added benefit.
Well, it's just cool for starters. So you can begin there. But I think it also is really good for our students to be able to come in and have this textural connection to history, to actually be able to touch history. I think that can really spark imagination and get them more interested in learning about those works as well as others.
The Remnant Trust exhibit will remain in the library until the end of the semester. Schaefer hopes the exhibit will be popular among students and spark their interest.
The students who have come through definitely have been interested, and they'll do the fast double take or something like that and then come over and look for a little bit longer. So I think it's going to be popular.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll see how Troy University is preparing for the first football game of the season. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Football season starts Saturday, but before the season can begin, Troy students got the chance to show their Trojan pride in a way that could help make an economic impact on the university. Claudia Peppenhorst shows us how.
Some people may think that Friday is just like any other day, but they may not know that the Friday before football season begins has a different meaning in the state of Alabama. Governor Kay Ivey recently signed a proclamation claiming Friday, September 3rd as a statewide College Colors Day for public universities.
College Colors Day is an event put on by the Higher Education Partnership for all the public state schools in the state of Alabama. Basically our day to be able to show our school pride, school joy, our Trojan spirit here at Troy, of why we love Troy.
The day gives public universities across the state the opportunity to show their school pride and possibly encourage others to pursue a college career as well. With the Higher Education Partnership, schools get the chance to increase their funds received from the state to improve their students' college experience.
If you see me living life here at Troy, showing my Trojan pride, and you're thinking about coming to Troy, that entices students to come to Troy. And I think if people show their pride and their love for Troy, I think that's really helpful for the students here at Troy now and then the future Trojans as well. We find that important here. We want Troy to be able to be fully funded and things like that, and also for other schools as well to be able to show their pride.
And come Friday for College Colors Day, students might want to change into something like this.
If you decide to show your Trojan pride for College Colors Day, George is encouraging everyone to post it on all platforms of social media.
I want them to wear their Troy gear. I want them to wear it proud, hats, shirts, pants. If you have Troy shoes, wear them. Take your photos, post them on social media, tag Troy SGH, tag Troy University, share it. I think it's important that people see Troy University on social media.
And after a year of changes to the football game day experience due to COVID restrictions, things are looking closer to normal this season. Simon Schuessler gives us a look at what fans can expect this season.
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, the 2020 college football season seemed a little off. Besides out-of-conference play not being scheduled, the main difference was the fans. Social distancing played a key role in the safety of fans everywhere. So what can we expect in 2021? Regular operations seems to be the game plan for Veterans Memorial Stadium.
So we're looking forward to having fans back into Veterans Memorial Stadium this year with no regulations in terms of our overall capacity. We get back to regular operations when it comes to capacity. Once you're inside the stadium too, fans will be back into their normal seats, whether it's in the student section or any of our ticketed locations as well too there. So we don't have to worry about having that separation between people once they're inside the facility. We will still have some lines forming when it comes to concessions as well as coming into the facility as well too on game day. But when it comes to the actual seat locations, we'll be back to our regular operations there.
Social distancing wasn't the only difference to games in 2020. Most game day traditions and programs had to be pushed to the side as well, such as the Trojan Walk and tailgating. This year, they will return along with other aspects of a normal pre-COVID game day.
That goes to tailgating and getting back to regular operations when it comes to tailgating. Trojan Walk will return this year. That'll be 2 hours and 15 minutes prior to kickoff each game. For this game, it'll be 3:45 in the afternoon. The Sound of the South will be back into their regular location. They'll actually be marching on the field during halftime as well as pregame as well too. Our promotions, those are coming back to the field as well. A little bit of a different capacity. We'll have those take place in the north end zone so we can maintain a bubble around the football team is one of the key pieces as a return to play with the Sun Belt Conference. But in large part, you're going to see a lot of the things that you're used to seeing and accustomed to seeing here at Veterans Memorial Stadium on a regular game day.
The Trojans currently have 6 scheduled home games, with the first being this Saturday versus Southern at 6 p.m. Simon Schuessler, Troy, TrojanVision News.
While opening weekend is a big deal for most people around here, football doesn't necessarily hold the same level of importance around the world. DeAndre Larkin shows us how Troy athletics helped international students get a better understanding of American football.
Troy University, being known all around the world, welcomes its very own international students to the vet to show them exactly how American football at Troy University touches down.
Just kind of covering the basics for the international students on our campus. There's a wide variety of countries represented on our campus, and we would like to invite all of them to football games. So to explain the game and help them understand what's going on while they're here with us on Saturdays will help us win and make this place rocking.
Football in other languages can mean many different things. Like in Spain, it's for soccer. But here in Veterans Memorial Stadium, it's home for some good Trojan football.
Our international students just had a really good opportunity to come out and learn all about the game of football. Most of them have never seen an American game of football played, and the few that have only seen it on TV. So they were able to learn about all the different plays, the different positions, the different players, and they were even able to meet Coach Chip Lindsey, who came out and personally asked each one of them where they were from and shared a little bit of his experience traveling internationally, which is really cool. And then at the end of the night, we were able to come out on the field. Students were able to try on the equipment, toss the ball around, and just kind of get a feel And I think this says a lot about the universities to really include and welcome these international students. And it shows that we don't just care about them academically, but we want them to succeed in all areas, including the culture, which, as we all know, American football plays a great part in.
Getting to meet the head coach for the Trojans football team and seeing exclusive content no other student nor staff member has seen, let's just say this play goes down in Trojan history. Deandra Larkin, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll see how student work in journalism was turned into works of art. It's coming up right after this, so stay tuned.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
Mama. Mama. Say mama. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm almost 2 now. I'm still not responding. That's one sign of a communication disorder, and delaying treatment can affect my development.
Many parents aren't aware of the early signs of speech, language, and hearing disorders, yet early detection and treatment can improve quality of life.
Say dada.
Ugh, here we go.
Identify the signs of communication disorders.
Journalism can be described as the art of telling people stories through newspaper or television. However, not many would consider those products to be works of art. As Amaya Mitchell shows us, that's not stopping the International Arts Center from showcasing the work of student journalists on its walls.
Troy University students and International Arts Center partnered together to showcase a form of art you might forget to consider.
I got the idea for the art of the story because our students produce wonderful content in the classroom for the Tropolitan, for TrojanVision, but there's never really an understanding that goes along with that about what it takes to create a story and the sort of art that goes into storytelling and taking photos that are visually engaging and captivating readers' attention.
If you take a look around, you'll notice some of the events that have happened this past year, including the March for Black Lives, Representative John Robert Lewis's funeral, and how events shifted to fit COVID guidelines.
The content of the exhibit is what it was like to experience the last year through a Troy lens. So there is a wall that's dedicated to human rights issues, a wall that's dedicated to international issues, a wall that's dedicated to the pandemic, or an area dedicated to the pandemic. And so it's all these big national stories that were being covered, but when you come and look at the exhibit here, it's how those things were happening and how students and faculty and staff at Troy were experiencing those things.
The exhibit showcases forms of journalism to express the different ways students have been able to bring events to life through words and photographs.
At the International Arts Center, we're always looking for ways to display different students' work. It's not just about fine arts. This story, the act of telling a story, the art of it is so important. And so we just wanted to find a way to lift up our journalism students and just engage our audience with a different type of art form.
There is a craft to creating news, and it's an art form on its own, trying to figure out what the truth of the story is and who can help explain that and how to do it in a credible way, and then package it in an engaging way where people actually read the content, because at the heart of it, journalism is a public service, but the creation of what happens when students are working on stories and taking photos and collecting video, that's all art.
And the International Arts Center is living up to its name right now as it's home to an exhibit of photos taken in places across the globe. And as Amaya Mitchell shows us, the exhibit is filled with images that will take visitors on a trip around the world.
The International Arts Center's Hubal Zoo Gallery is showcasing photography from around the world in the Stonehenge International Photography Competition and Exhibit. The competition began in 2018 by a photography group named 9.
Richard Metzger, who's one of the members, asked if we would be interested in bringing that show to Troy. and I thought that would be a super idea.
Over 600 applicants submitted their work to juror Sarah Kennel, who selected photos for the exhibit. Skaggs visited Kennel to see the process.
I found the photos that she chose for selected awards. She had a very good rationale for those.
Now 228 photographers representing 31 states and 6 countries abroad hang on the walls of Troy's gallery. The photos feature work done in color, black and white, and some are even digitally altered.
It's a really great show. There's a really large mix of different subject matter, anywhere from portraiture to landscape to abstract to some that are very conceptual, some that are political. But there's some really wonderful pieces.
On September 23rd, a few of the artists will come to Troy to view their work in the exhibit. Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation grants wishes to sick and dying children, but it can't do it without help. This week, Chi Omega Sorority has held a number of events to help make a wish, including one this week that had students showing off their musical talents without singing a note. Simon Schuessler shows us how.
Chi Omega is benefiting Make-A-Wish with their annual Make-A-Wish Week. Events take place almost every day this week, and on Wednesday night they hosted a lip-sync battle in which Greek organizations competed against each other to see whose moves were the best.
Oh my gosh, it was so exciting. I was actually really nervous because I've never performed in front of I was never a dancer or anything, so it was really fun. I'm really proud of my backup dancers.
From country to hip-hop to water guns. Each organization had their own theme and made sure the crowd involvement was at a high level. While this was a fun event for everybody, it was also a great way to help give back.
Yeah, it's an amazing organization, and we've helped Make-A-Wish Alabama the last, I don't even know how many years, but we always are able to grant one wish for them. This past semester we were able to grant 2 wishes, which was over $22,000, so we did incredible this year, and we're hoping to meet or exceed that amount as well.
Make-A-Wish Chair Savannah Griffin is an example of how Make-A-Wish impacts the sisters on a personal level. When she tells her most impactful Make-A-Wish story, it's hard not to understand.
It's so important to me because 2 years ago we had a wish party at our house and we invited the child and his family to come, and it was Lego themed for, he wanted to go to Legoland. And so we had Legos everywhere, all of our sisters were there, and he wanted to play with us. And I was playing with him outside, and I took a break, went in to get some water, and his mama pulled me aside, and she was crying, and she just said, "I just want to thank you because I saw my little boy before he was sick again."
Well, it's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll learn how a Center for Developing Business helps students find their center. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
Troy University's Idea Bank is designed to give students assistance in developing business ideas. However, last Thursday, the Idea Bank was in the business of relaxation. Alex Albritton shows us how yoga helps students mind their business.
With National Yoga Month only a week away, yoga instructor Jessica Phillips celebrated early by hosting a yoga class at Troy University Idea Bank on Thursday.
The plan behind doing yoga is just to help them create body awareness within their physical bodies so that they can understand and then manage their stress levels better.
This event was focused on strengthening the students' minds to get ready for the semester and have an open conversation about self-awareness and mental health in business and education.
We have so much going on in the world today and in our daily lives that it is more important now than ever to not only understand and recognize our specific stress triggers, but then also know how to handle and manage them properly.
Troy students and people in the community can reach Ms. Phillips by Facebook via Jessica Phillips, Zoom, and YouTube under the name Rushing Waters Yoga.
I teach Zoom classes all throughout the year, usually a lunchtime flow and then an afternoon flow, usually between 6 and 6:30 in the afternoon based on when it's desired.
To keep up with the latest information, you can go on Instagram and follow at Jess_like_Rushing_Waters to be a part of the next yoga session that she hosts. Alex Albert and Troy, TrojanVision News.
While some students were de-stressing through yoga, some other Troy students were burning energy through games on the quad. Maya Mitchell shows us how students got a taste of butter and egg adventures right here on campus.
Out here on John Lewis Quad, the University Activities Council and Camp Butter and Egg partnered together for a field day to bring stress relief and to mingle with students.
Tonight we are hosting our UAC Takes the Quad, basically our field day, and we partner with Camp Butter and Egg. Camp Butter and Egg brought over some of their games. Tonight we gave out free drinks, we have live music.
The UAC held the event to encourage students to get out of their dorms.
Just a way for students to come out and have a good time, get out of their dorms and come groups, and a little bit of friendly competition.
Staff members from Camp Butter and Egg brought table and competitive games to get students moving and involved.
Camp Butter and Egg was asked to come out here and host some games, so we just have some games set up behind us, and so we've just been hosting some games out here.
We have an Oreo relay, a peanut butter and jelly relay, we have human tic-tac-toe, some games in that nature.
Not only was the field day an opportunity to mingle with new students and to get moving, but a way for students to shake off stress from the first few weeks of classes.
Sometimes us as students, we get caught up in our everyday lives of just going to class, going back to our room, and UAC, we just want to take time out to have events every week for students to come out and to de-stress, let go, and just have fun.
I love having campus events where freshmen get to come and meet new students. I think it's a great way to be active out here, get a nice tan under the sun, and what better place than on the quad.
As for future events, the UAC will host a Step Tease on Thursday, September 2nd.
Our next event is we have Step Tease, which is next Thursday. It'll be at the amphitheater at 7 p.m. And then after that we'll have a fall formal, but it will be to be announced.
Amaya Mitchell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
When a nationally ranked team enters your home field, you know it's going to be a highly anticipated matchup, especially when that opponent is an in-state team. That was the case when the 14th ranked Auburn Tigers came to Trojan Soccer Complex for what ended up being a tightly contested game. Simon Schuessler has the details.
The Troy Soccer Complex was buzzing Thursday night ahead of the team's first big test of the season versus number 14 ranked Auburn. In the first half, you could tell Auburn was a top 15 team in the nation, unleashing a relentless attack that resulted in 11 shots for Auburn to 1 shot for Troy. They picked up 2 goals during the half, one from a corner kick and one that took an unlucky bounce, resulting in a dominating 2-0 lead for Auburn at the half.
Yeah, heading into the half, we just, we followed the game plan very well and got unlucky, I think, on that first goal that they had, and then a set-piece goal for them. So going into the half, it was let's keep doing what we're doing and keep knocking on the door.
As Waters said, knocking on the door was the theme for the second half for the Trojans. This half, it seemed Troy was mostly in control, outshooting the Tigers 3-4. Troy would pick up a goal in the 62nd minute by sophomore Tatum Terrell.
You see the physicality and the athleticism from Tatum. She stepped up huge and was clinical in front of goal, which we've been talking about a lot since last weekend. So hopefully she can keep it up the rest of the year and keep putting goals in like that, because that was a pretty one.
One goal wasn't enough, however, and despite repeated efforts to advance the ball upfield, the second goal they were so desperately aiming for just wasn't to be, giving Auburn the win 2-1. Senior defender Kate Eubanks talks about the mindset heading into the rest of the season after such a tough loss.
Even though we lost, it was a very positive game for us. I got to see who was going to step up for us, and I think everyone did. We didn't let up at all, which is very good to see from everyone. We have a really young team, so Obviously, unfortunate score, but I am coming out of this game happy with us and happy with the result.
This loss puts the Trojans at 2-1 on the year before their next game next Thursday away at Jackson State at 1 p.m.
That's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday. Or you can visit us anytime on the TrojanVision News blog at today.troy.edu/TrojanVision to see online content from Troy TrojanVision News. Until next time, have a good week.